This is my first video on LinkedIn, and it is a response and maybe a little bit of piling on with my friend Jim Keenan, who did this provocative video I'm looking at right now called "Good Closers Are Bad Salespeople." It's time we start perpetuating the myth that closing skills matter. They don't. And Jim and I are in wild agreement here, but I will tell you that closing skills do matter, and it is a skill. So let's talk about what Jim said and what he gets right, and then let me add some color and some context into what he was talking about with micro commitments, even though I think they're macro commitments. So the first thing Jim told you is that the tactics and tricks, the tie downs, the high pressure, the smarmy, pushy, hard sell is dead. You cannot do that in B2B sales. It will hurt you, and it will cause clients to be repelled away from you instead of attracted to you. And there's so much competition right now. These tactics that people used in 1972 will not serve you in any way right now. So you need to get rid of all that. He's 100% right. Jim is also right that it is a journey. We do go on a journey with the client, and they have to make a number of commitments to go along this journey with us, and I'll tell you what each of those are in just a minute. There's 10 of them altogether. Closing is a skill. It is something that you can learn. It is something that you can practice. It is something you can get better at because it's a human interaction. And if you pay attention and you listen and you study good language choices, you're going to find out you can be super consultative, and that will help you gain commitments faster than anything else. So let me tell you what closing means now. What closing used to mean was that it's this last event where we ask for the business. We're going to say, can I get you to sign this contract? That's what it used to mean. But I wrote a book about this. It's called The Lost Art of Closing, and there's 10 commitments, and there's probably more than that, but I rolled them up into 10. So let me tell you what they are and why this matters. Good closers mean that you know how to help the client make the commitments that they need to make real change in their company. It means that you know how to guide them in a consultative way from the current state to the future state, and that you can help them do all the things they need to do along that path. And so let me just give you an idea what that looks like. The first commitment you have to gain, which is a close if you want to call it a close, is the commitment for time. You have to prospect, and you have to get your prospective client, or what I would call your dream client, to meet with you. After that, you have to get their commitment to explore change. They have to start exploring new ideas. You probably have to share something with them so that they get a new view of their business, or the way that I would put it, you have to help them discover something about themselves. And when they discover, wait, there's better results available to me, I don't have to live with the devil I know, there's a different devil I can pick up now, I'm interested in that. Then they have to decide it makes sense to go through the process. That's the commitment to change. And right now in your pipeline, you likely have deals where you've had a lot of conversations, but your prospective client hasn't committed to making a change. They're good with exploring, but they're not good at making the decision to move forward. And that's because there's some other commitments that you have to gain to help them get there. The next commitment is the commitment to collaborate, where we're going to talk about what might work. I'm going to share ideas with you. You're going to share ideas with me. And then we're going to figure out what's the best way for us to get this outcome together when we work as a team and figure out what we can do here. Those collaborative conversations, that might be one meeting, it might be 2 meetings, it could be 5 meetings or 10 meetings, but it is a commitment that you have to ask for and gain. You have to have the commitment to go through the discovery process and share ideas and riff on things before you decide on what the final answer is. From there, you have to ask for and gain the commitment to consensus. You've got to be able to bring in the stakeholders. CEB, now Gartner, says there's 6.8. I think their new research is going to say there's far more than that in the way of stakeholders involved in a B2B deal. So you have to know how to get those stakeholders in, which means you have to ask for the commitment. You have to say, Jim Keenan, in my experience, if we don't bring in your peers that are going to be involved in this decision, we're going to get so far out in front of them, we're going to become disconnected, and they're going to be right to put the brakes on or kill this initiative because they'll think that we left them behind and we didn't consider what they need. How soon can we bring those people into this conversation, and who do we need to bring here first? That is a commitment, and you need to gain it. It's important. You also have to have the commitment to invest. So you need to talk about money. And I'll just tell you, the more expensive what it is you sell, the earlier that conversation has to happen, because it could be a qualifying consideration for you and for your client. So you need to talk about money. And then you need a commitment to review what it is you're going to do, and the commitment to resolve concerns. And right now in your pipeline, I guarantee you have deals where your prospective client or your dream client is thinking to themselves, I'm not sure this is the right deal. I'm not sure this is the right amount of money. I'm not sure everybody's bought in. I'm not sure that we're actually going to get this outcome. I'm not even sure if it's the right outcome for us to get. And when they start talking to themselves and each other, all these concerns come up. But if you don't have the commitment to get back together with them and say, I just want to make sure that after you have your meeting, I have a chance to answer and address all of the concerns that anyone might have so that you can be 100% confident moving forward. After you get those 8 commitments, then you can ask for the final commitment, which is to decide and to take action. And all you're going to have to say is, look, I think we've done good work here together. Unless you have some concern that I still need to address for you, I'd like to recommend that we put this into motion for you right now. Can I get you a contract? Can we go ahead and trade paper? And can I get started for you? You don't have to try to tie anybody down. You don't have to try to trick them. You don't have to try to be sneaky or pushy. All you have to do is just ask, can I go ahead and get this started for you? Or is there something else you need? If there's something else they need, they'll tell you that. But you do have to ask for the business. And so this part, Jim and I will be different on opinions here. I do not think you should wait for your client to come to you and ask, can I finally buy from you? I think that when you do all this work, you're right to ask for the commitment. You've guided them through this whole consultative process, going through all these commitments together. It would be criminal negligence not to ask them for the business. And it would be even worse to open a gap for somebody else who's a lot like you, who's also creating value, to ask for the business and to have the client make the decision. I gave it to them because they told me they really wanted the business and they asked for it and I wasn't sure how you felt about it. You don't want that to happen to you, and it happens to people. So you have to be a good closer, but you have to be a good closer in 2018 terms, not in 1978 terms. So Jim is exactly right there. Check out Gong.io's research too. It's very interesting. It's worth your time. The other thing that Jim said that's exactly right is that you win way earlier in the process. If you're trying to win at the end and you didn't do all this work and you went right to closing, you made a huge mistake, probably one that you can't undo. So thanks, Jim Keenan, for the provocation. You are a provocateur, and you provoked me to do my first video on LinkedIn. And look, go gain the commitments and do good work. You're trying to help people. You're not trying to hurt them. You're not doing things to them. You're doing things for them and with them. And asking for these commitments is how you become consultative in the first place.